Hey, welcome to Rust Revival Garage. My name is Tim. I am back on my Jeep. Not a very popular project. Not very many people watched me installing the brake lines in the last video. But again, hopefully it helps somebody else. Finally got my hose, the brake hose for the front that I stripped. Need to get that on and then attach basically the last brake line that goes to the driver's side front. So let's get to it. Okay, so like I said, finally got the brake hose. I had stripped out this part and got to drop the brake line down there and attach it to this. And I'm going to do it while this is free and then attach it to the Jeep because I have the worst luck lining up lines and not stripping them, obviously. So installing the final brake line isn't really hard. It's just getting it down there. I say it's not hard as I make it really hard. But it's getting it down in here. And so this one will go on this side of the, oh my God, that is dramatically different than that one. Oh, okay. All right, so this is the way the proportioning valve goes in. The smaller one was the front driver's. The larger one is the rear, maybe, or maybe it's the front passenger. But two different sizes, so that works out. I was just kind of scared when I saw those together for the first time. I don't think I'm going to start with the side one. So I've got the back and this one started. Got all three brake lines. Okay, I just need to drill a new hole. I had stripped off the bolt and I need a new hole in order to put that in. Got a new hole. Okay, so I've got the hose attached. Now I just need to reattach it down here. Okay, I got the new hose attached to the caliper. Unfortunately, it looks like these are a lot longer than they should be. Probably if you've got a raised up Jeep, but this is pretty much what it said, stock for this Jeep. So I just need to get this tightened and the other one's tightened up at the proportioning valve. So I got all the lines tightened up. I think I will try to tighten them a little bit more once I've got everything attached because it's moving around a little too much. Now I need to get the smaller lines on here so that I can then put that and the proportioning valve back on power booster. Okay, that gives me the ability to move them around. Let's see if I can line them up. It's going to be easier, I think, to put the bottom ones in down there first. Gee, there's so much room to work. And I just realized I forgot these, so I gotta take that back off. But all the brake lines are attached, and I don't think I stripped anything. Again, not tightening it down until I get all connected back up. Quick note, in case you're doing something similar with your Jeep, there's an old copper one that's in there, and this one was really kind of buried and dirty. Almost couldn't see it, but if you try to put them together, it might not work, but I've got the old one off. And there are two. So one will go on both sides of this block like this. So you can see there's one between this bolt and then one here that will go up against the caliper. The other thing is there is a notch in the caliper itself It keeps this from moving once you get it tightened down. That way the block stays up against the flat part, and you can arrange it so that it comes out. I think I might actually do it so that it's coming out here like this. Because I don't want the brake line to be dragging or to get too close to the wheel. There we go. And then I gotta line up the proportioning valve. All right. I know I should have bench bled this, but I'm gonna see if I can just actually fill it up, bleed it, see if I can get as much air as possible out. I've had decent luck. I just know it's a little bit more work to bleed everything out. But master's back on. Believe I've got it on the push rod correctly. I'll need to tighten all these remaining 4 nuts here from these lines. Then tighten everything else up. Actually, looking at this, there were 4 nuts on there. I think these 2 went to hold the master on, and then the proportioning valve went on, and then these went on because these are rusted. These actually look like they've been covered up. And I've got 4 left. So I think what it is I need to put on the master nuts, then I need to put on the proportioning valve nuts. All right, the master is nice and tight on there. There's no gap. All right, the proportioning valve is tightened on. All right, luckily, if you can see the 3 lines, let's see if I can get the clip on them. Luckily, they're fairly close together. Just no room for the big meat hands to go down in there. Maybe from the bottom. Let's see if I can get a clip on there. Wasn't fun, but I got it to line up a little bit, and the clip is on. So I think the only thing I really need to do now is just tighten all this down. I need to get this plugged back in. Actually, I'm going to wait until see if it's out of the way. So I think they are all tightened up. I've got that brake light hooked up. I think we're good. Just need to add fluid. I don't know if I have enough brake fluid because I'm going to have to fill the whole system. I've got that tight. That's tight. Those two are tight. I just checked these. Need to check this back one real quick. But it takes, Jeep TJs take .3. I've got a little more than, maybe about 2/3 in there. We'll see how it goes. I might have to go get some more. And yes, the proper way to do this is to bench bleed it. But I did not do that. Now I'm expecting this to go way down because there is nothing in any of these brake lines. Alright, let's add a little pressure and see what it does. Went down a little bit, but not very much. But am I seeing any leaks? No leaks. No leak up front. Don't see anything in the back. Alright, so it's a 5/16 bleeder right there. Hopefully I can get to it without taking the wheel off because I've already got the front end jacked up. But I've got a cup and a hose. See if I can. Alright, so I got that loose. And hoping this hose isn't too wide. Alright, I'm going to drop this. I'm going to set this on something and then see if I can pump up the brakes. See if anything comes out. Alright, as they say, you keep an eye on that. We'll see if anything comes out. See if I can get any fluid back to the back here. And I'm on the passenger side, the farthest away. Did anything come out? Does not look like it. Wait. I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to drip a little bit. That means I am getting some fluid back here. A little more, but still not a ton. All right. Not sure if you can see it, but there's some bubbles coming out. And I just added a little bit more, so I think it's working. I'm gonna let it gravity bleed for a little bit, see what happens. And I'm not sure if you can see it up there, but tons of bubbles are coming out. So again, I'm gonna let it go for a little bit. Now I'm just getting fluid. Got it raised up a little bit, like this, at this angle, so the air is getting trapped and can't go back in. Then what I'll do is go to the other side, do the same thing, then to the front. Hopefully that'll get a lot of the air out of the system, and then I can go back around, bleed it again without having to bench bleed. I'm just guessing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't try this at home, kids. Good sign is I loosened the driver's side, fluid started coming out, so I've got it set up again. Over here, let's see if we can get some fluid from this side. How are we looking? Yep, definitely getting some air bubbles. That's good. All right, so I got this side set up on the passenger side front. See if I can pump a little bit of fluid out. Not as much this time. I am getting some fluid. Not as much, but I want to see if I can go for a bit until the bubbles come out. Okay, I got the driver's side set up. So again, we're getting bubbles out, and this is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to bench bleed. That's where you take the master and set it on the bench and use a pump. There's like a bunch of different kits you can use to pump it out. But what I'm doing here is hopefully guessing that I can get the first round of air out and then go back around, do it again. And then I should just have fluid. There should be no air in the system. Not the best way to do it, but if you want a professional, go somewhere else. The other good news is I'm actually starting to get pedal feel. I mean, it's starting to feel like there are brakes. And again, I know that there's still air in the system. There has to be, but it's starting to act like a brake system. And you just have to make sure you get all the bubbles out. But it does, like, as I've moved around the car, it's gotten better and better. The pedal feel has gotten way better. The other thing too is as you're bleeding brakes, if you're doing this, you want to make sure you keep adding fluid back in here. If you don't add fluid in here and it goes dry, you're gonna have to do it all over again. So I'm still bleeding the brakes. I've gone back around. I've started on the passenger rear. I'm doing the driver rear. I'll go back up and do the front passenger, then front, or driver's front, and getting very, very little air bubbles out at this point. Hopefully you can see it, but it's mostly just fluid coming out of there. I did have like 2 bubbles. Gonna hit the brakes again and see what it does. Adding some more fluid. All right, no air bubbles. Got that one sealed up. All right, last one. See how it does. That is looking like pure fluid. Let me check the replay, but I can barely push the brake pedal down on the Jeep. Got the Jeep lowered back down, wheels back on. Even had to add some air to the tires because the cold weather totally knocked them down, but now it's time to give this a test drive. Start it up, She's not too happy. Our brake light is on, and that sometimes will happen. Sometimes you need to stop on it a couple of times before it shuts off. But let's see how the brakes do. Seems like I do have brakes, just getting it out of here, but brake light's off, that's a good sign. Yeah, she's got brakes. Like I said, brake light went off right away. Let's try it. Oh yeah, she's happy. Okay, I've been driving it around for about 15 minutes. There's no fade. It still has the same pedal pressure. But I'm going to go and check for leaks just to make sure. Get it back in the garage. But yeah, it's stopping real well. So I checked all the wheels, no leaks. And everything is looking good here. So I know brakes on a Jeep is not the most exciting thing. Sorry, I know I'd rather be on my Pontiac Le Mans, the 85 C10. But again, these things have to be done, and I need to be able to drive the Jeep. And I literally couldn't. So I appreciate any of the subscribers who are sticking with me. If you're new to the channel, I'd love it if you could subscribe. I'm always doing some kind of project also with the Jeep, but I've got a bunch of other cars and a truck that I'm also doing projects on. So I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe. Hopefully this helps somebody. If you're maybe dealing with the brakes on your Jeep, the previous video I did the brake lines, finished up the brake lines in this one, and then put the master cylinder, proportioning valve, bled the brakes, all of that. So maybe this helped somebody else out there, and you got something out of it. If you did, give me a like, leave me a comment down below. If you have any suggestions or whatever I might have done wrong, let me know. Or, you know, if you have any questions too. And yeah, like I said, don't do what I did, which is, you know, don't not bench bleed your master cylinder. What I did was I put it on and then just started running fluid out to every end. Then I had to go back around and basically bleed it 3 times. It probably would have been easier to bench bleed it, but I don't have the kit to do it. So anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will catch you next time.